so this has been the pitch controversy before the semi-final between India and New Zealand. The pitch has been switched for the game. It was meant to be played on pitch number 7, which is the central strip at the Wankhede, and it has been an unused pitch. But now the game will be played on pitch number 6, which has been used for 2 games earlier. South Africa's 229-run win over England and India's 302-run win over Sri Lanka. So according to ICC's playing conditions for the World Cup, the relevant ground authority is responsible for the selection and preparation of the pitch before any given match. In this case, the Mumbai Cricket Association. The ICC also have an independent pitch consultant, Andy Atkinson, who works alongside local ground staff. But in a report by Daily Mail, Andy Atkinson has become upset with the changes to this pre-agreed plan in the tournament. Now let's put those 2 quotes up of Andy Atkinson. These are quotes that have been given in Daily Mail, the newspaper, and he says, as a result of these actions, one must speculate if this will be the first ever ICC Cricket World Cup final to have pitch which has been specifically chosen and prepared to their stipulation at the request of the team management and / the hierarchy of the home nation board. He says that this is the first time that he's seen something like this happen. Now, there are a couple of points that one needs to discuss here. What are the guidelines when it comes to using a pitch in knockout matches? Does it have to be a fresh pitch? There is nowhere it's written that it has to be a fresh pitch. So what seems to be the problem then? Let's also get Jamie's reaction to this. Jamie, what is it that's been going on in the press box with regards to this pitch switch?
Obviously, there's a divided reaction, right? The person who first put the story out in the Indian Express, I've had a word with him. No one seems to think there's something wrong here. The BCCI / Indian cricket team wants a certain kind of pitch. They have put the request in. A similar request was put for the first match in Chennai, and we saw how that pulled out. The other side is the story which has come, like you mentioned, in the Daily Mail, which is, look at the two stories. I encourage anyone watching, anyone who's following it, open up your browsers, your phones, whatever you want. Read both the articles. There's a very different slant to both the articles, right? And I'm not going to get into it, but you can see the one slant is for the ICC, and the other is somewhat questioning the ICC and all this. So it just depends which side of the fence you land on. I'll echo Chetan in saying it's rather needless. I believe this Indian team is beyond pitch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. They want something which plays a little slower and drier. Not the first time it's happened. It has happened that they've asked this request. What amplifies it is the last-minute nature of it and the fact that it's a World Cup semi-final. But like you said, there is no such rule written where you need to play any knockout match on a fresh pitch or a used pitch. Chetan's absolutely right. It has been 7 days. And in the press box, that was one of the first things I heard people discussing about. But ye to wo pitch hai na, Australia wala. So if the common journalist understands the gap, how important the gap plays, I don't think there's too much read into it. It's just a needless controversy. But again, like I said, go back and read both the articles and you'll get the slant, or in general terms, the bent of the 2 articles.
Okay, so the ICC's rule book states that there is no requirement where the knockout fixtures must be played on fresh pitches. The only stipulation in their pitch and outfield monitoring process reads like this: it is expected that venues that are allocated the responsibility of hosting a match will present the best possible pitch and outfield conditions for that match. How much do we read into the fact that this story is coming out of English media, Chetan?
Look, it's I don't want to grind an axe with the foreign media, but you know, there's a lot said about Indian cricket, lot written about Indian cricket whenever such a situation arises, whether it's the IPL, whether it's the World Cup, the English team has been knocked out. So look, I don't really care what's been written in the English press about the semi-final, to be honest.
So now you're also getting voices from the foreign, from international cricketers, former cricketers, who are saying that, boss, that a semi-final pitch should be a fresh pitch. Jamie, I don't see this controversy dying down anytime soon, because clearly the sense that I'm getting is that there is a narrative around this Indian team and BCCI in particular that they are giving undue advantage to India through the pitch, which is not true, because at the end of the day, that pitch will see both teams bat and bowl. And I don't understand why this narrative is being created, especially by people who have zero say at the moment. Their team is out of the World Cup, be it Michael Vaughan, be it Lawrence Booth.
Look, yes, I agree with what you're saying, but again, I'm not going to give too much importance to all this talk, right? Do you think a slower, drier pitch will not aid into Mitchell Santner, Rachin Ravindra, and Glenn Phillips' hands?
Yeah.
You're telling me that India is so flawless against spin bowling? What if this backfires? Mitchell Santner has had Virat Kohli on a string since 2016. Virat Kohli is going to be playing with the Wankhede. Every single jersey I've seen here has Virat Kohli on the back. Virat Kohli has a strike rate issue in this World Cup. He's only being lifted because he has near on 600 runs and the fans love him. Glenn Phillips has become a bona fide all-rounder during the course of these 9 matches. He's bowling 10 more or less high-quality overs of spin. You think this cannot backfire? So I don't care who's written the article. Like I said, there's a slant, there's a bent to the tone and the reporting and the authenticity of these 2 articles. Let's respect the people for doing the research. Let's respect them for doing their job. They're very, very highly skilled reporters. Very obvious where the two reports are coming from. But beyond that, it's not like this is giving India any massive advantage.
But that's what they're
trying
to create. That's a narrative they're trying to create, Jamie. That they've got the advantage in how they've tried to change the pitch. That it is clearly, you are saying that after India having bossed the group stages, having beaten every single team in the tournament, you're saying that this Indian team needs pitch advantage to that extent, and that it's going to give them that advantage, and that they are using unfair means to win this semi-final. That's the narrative that's being created. I'm sorry, but that's just how I see it. Chetan?
Driving from it, India is not even playing an extra spinner. They're playing just 2 spinners, and then they're playing 3 fast bowlers. So what advantage are you deriving from it if it is a slow pitch? Like I said, the report was broken, the news was broken by my colleague here, who is there at the Wankhede today. He was there yesterday as well. Kudos to him for doing his job. But again, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, unless and until there is a confirmed statement from the ICC that the pitch has been slowed down. It's a used pitch, yes, fine. For whatever reasons they want to play on that pitch, it's the home team, they have the prerogative of choosing it. No rule is broken. So yeah, I think everybody can just zip it.
I'm just a bit tired of all these comments, especially coming from the English press. I have an article of The Guardian that's open. This is a 4-year-old article, Jamie, which says, "Don't blame us for low-scoring World Cup pitches," says ICC, where there are quotes from people like Johnny Bairstow, who say the pitches we've been playing on the last 2 years are surely the pitches we would be playing on in a World Cup. I don't know why they have changed. There is Mark Butcher, who's spoken about how he thinks that these pitches are absolutely shoddy. Yeah, the surface of the semi-final, and they're talking about exactly the semi-final that India played against New Zealand in Manchester. Mark Butcher has this to say: "Sorry, but pitches have been garbage this tournament. Uneven, two-paced heaps might give you exciting 5 overs at the end of a run chase, but you scared everybody off in the previous 95. Crap." This is what Mark Butcher had said about the pitch that India and New Zealand played on in 2019 World Cup in Manchester. I'm just appalled by just every time this pitch conversation comes up, and somehow they think that, it's India's slow pitches which have to be blamed for everything.